There's been several reports out of Washington state of people having these encounters with these random old people in the woods. Now, there was this man named Jack. Jack was from Seattle, Washington. Him and his girlfriend Katie, they decided they were going to go for a jog out near Squanami Pass on this trail that veered off the Pacific Crest Trail. Now, they had planned on going about 5.5 miles. So they get to this parking area at the base of the trail. They get out of their car and they started to jog. Well, as they got about 2 miles into their run, they noticed this woman on the trail. She looked probably in her 70s, 80s. She was completely dressed in all white. She had pale white skin, this blank stare on her face. And as Jack and Katie run past this woman, they say hi. She didn't say anything. She just kept on walking. So they go another mile, and as they're running, they see the same woman, once again, all dressed in white. And they're like, how in the world did she get that far up ahead of us when she was going in the opposite direction? She's 70 years old, and we've been running this whole time. So they continue on. They get to the end of their 5.5 mile run. And right as they stop, they see this woman again, all dressed in white. And they said she just looked at them, smiled, turned, and just started walking off in the opposite direction. So they make their way back to their car. And as they get to the end of the trail, once again, there is this woman, all dressed in white. She looks at them and she says, I guess this is the end of the trail now. And they walk past her, they turn around, and they can see she disappeared. Like she's no longer there. So they get back in their car, and instantly both of them started feeling very ill. When they start the car, they could see it was 6 p.m. They're like, wait a second, we left at 8 in the morning. How could it be 6 p.m.? They look at their phone. Sure enough, it was 6 p.m. So they couldn't figure out why that run took many more hours than it normally does. And they also started to feel progressively worse to the point where they turned off their car and they ended up falling asleep. And they slept for several hours. And when they awoke, they said they had this weird feeling like someone was watching them. So they left. In this same general area on the Pacific Crest Trail, there was this other man named Gary. Gary said him and his father, they were hiking on this trail one day. And he said they were pretty deep in to where, this was a pretty secluded area and it was pretty thick woods. We said out of nowhere, they hear someone walking through the brush. He said out of the brush, out of the woods, onto the trail, steps this older gentleman, probably 70, 80 years old. Once again, he's wearing these white dress clothes and he's got this pale white skin. They said he looked, very out of place. And this was a hot day and he's dressed in these very warm, dress clothes. He said he looked at them and he said, it really is Enigma. And then they said he turned and walked back into the woods. And as they made it back to their vehicle, he said they, started their car and they just felt like something was weird. And when they got back home, they realized it was the next day. Somehow they misplaced a whole 24 hours of time encountering these random old people that people are seeing in the woods.